rather watch me fall from a golden mile. I can see you at the call. Think about it, ring won't tell you what I saw. When you break it off, you'll see who had it all. You had it all. You said you wanted to fall into oblivion. Forget about the world we're living in. Fall into oblivion, oblivion. Oh, go in. Into oblivion. Into oblivion. Forget about the world we're living in. Fall into oblivion, I'm going in. You can't fall asleep when you're counting stars. Get it together. Your mind can't sleep when you let it serve. And now you wanna see me fall from a golden mile. I can see you at the call. Think about it, ring won't tell you what I saw. When you break it up, you'll see who had it all. You had it all. You said you wanted to fall into oblivion. Forget about the world we're living in. Fall into oblivion, oblivion. Oh, go in. Into oblivion. Into oblivion. Forget about the world we're living in. Fall into oblivion, I'm going in.
Beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to ESA Contender. My name is Keglenek, and with me today is the beautiful Cherish. We have another great set for you guys lined up and ready to go. We have Skams Swap versus All4One on Clubhouse. Now, both of these teams are returning from the last season of ESA, where we had All4One as an org, still around, but with a completely new lineup. Scam Swap returns as well. I believe they've only swapped out one person between seasons, so hopefully that chemistry is still there. But it's yet to be seen, at least on my end, to see how All4One can hold up against these Titans in the Contender series. The map bans are up, and it looks like we're going to have a very ferocious one at that. Starting off on Scam's side, we have Theme Park going down. All4One decides to just completely kill off Coastline. And the follow-up will be the first map we're going to see tonight is the one and only, the most favorite of all of Pro League Siege, Clubhouse. The follow-up is going to be Oregon as well. At least we'll be seeing the return of it twice in 2 sets. Hopefully we get to see a lot more of it. And Cherish, the Kid Caboodle, the last one itself, the best one of them all. The deciding map is going to be Villa, your favorite map. But unfortunately, along the way, Cafe and Console that we did have to say goodbye to, and hopefully we'll see them later on in the series.
Yeah, so it should be definitely a series. We have, like you mentioned, Clubhouse as usual. A lot of teams are very comfortable on Clubhouse, as I mentioned on the last set. But Oregon is nice to see. It's being picked a bit more. Teams are very comfortable on it. It seems like as they are scrimming it more and more. So for the teams tonight, like you mentioned, rosters wise, actually, both these rosters were seen, I believe, in Rival Series last season. Scams Flop was under the name of HYXR last season. They have obviously left the org as they're now under Scams Flop. And I recognize a couple of the names, Proco and Peach specifically. They both had some time last season. However, the rest of the 3 names, Pickle Chin, False, and Kid Kojo, I don't recognize. I think they're all new players. Whereas All4One, they did have a bunch of swapping around of players between the beginning of between the qualifiers and the end of the season. The only one that stayed consistent was Arcturus. But since the end of winter or end of spring and the beginning of the summer seasons, we are now in between. Most of the roster has stayed the same. The only new player is Og, but the other 4 have remained the same. It is Mob, Arcturus, Inverted, and Bladehawk joining Og. So we've got like we mentioned, Clubhouse coming up first. All4One has chosen to start on the attack, interestingly. So this is something that we've seen from the team consistently. They regularly choose to start attack. So we are gonna have to see how this works out for them, because Clubhouse is notoriously very defender sided.
It's a complete understatement there. I mean, Clubhouse, if you've watched any of the NAL or EUL streams going on, or even ESA in the past, Clubhouse is a fan favorite, and there's a very clear reason why, and that's because there's clear-cut strategies on Clubhouse of how to defend it so well. That's not to say that defenders don't have a chance. We've seen a lot of beautiful attacking plays as well, but we're coming very close to that map starting, and those new players that we've mentioned on Scams Flop, I'm excited to see what they can do on the defensive side, starting off on Clubhouse shortly. Now, Cherish, the operator bans coming out here can either be extremely conservative like we've seen before, or they could be out of this world. We're seeing a lot of new people, so there's a lot to be expected on the table for maybe potentially upset bans.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot in store, but pretty typically, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Thatcher, Thermite, or not Thermite, Thatcher and Maverick, as well as maybe a Capital ban.
One so far.
Yeah. I've slowly been getting pretty good at predicting the bans, especially with the Echo gone. This is definitely going to be Maverick coming out.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, no surprises here. A lot of teams like to ban Mira, even though her best site is probably gym bedroom. Um, so who knows? Maestro is interesting for sure. I like a Maestro ban. Usually I feel like Maestro is not banned as much as he really should be.
Yeah, the Maestro ban is usually probably going to be the upset ban we see this game. Again, everything else is pretty standard on the course for well, not just Clubhouse. I mean, to the extent of Maverick being banned is pretty standard for Clubhouse, but the Thatcher Mira ban and of course Echo being quarantined for being a little too strong right now is to be more than expected. I mean, you have a better chance of, you have a better chance of those being banned than you do breathing right now. But with that being said, we are going into round number 1, and that's going to be CCTV again. CCTV has been, of course, since the Clubhouse remake all those moons ago, the #1 defending site for a lot of teams. It's just the most preferable one because of how well you can defend it. It's pretty modular too, all things considered, especially after the mirror ban, where we can see similar strats, but always small micro variations of it. The macro strategy, for the most part, is usually the same, but when it comes down to the small little nuances of player positioning and interestingly, like Caveira on the board, that is where things can spice up a little bit more. To be honest with you, Cherish, I think this might be the first time I've ever commentated having a Caveira on the board in a match.
I can say I don't know if this is my first time, but I've casted maybe a handful. Outside of amateur stuff or just like people trolling, in very, very serious settings, I've casted Cav in only a handful of times, as I said. It's very interesting because, obviously, you don't really see Cav at all because her strength is not communicating, or rather, teams that don't communicate, or just getting the sneak at, or rather the jump on teams and players. And you don't really get that with comp, especially in high-level comp like Tier 3, Tier 2, Tier 1, because it's, everyone is communicating. There's always drones seemingly everywhere, and she's just not that strong. Her guns are very lackluster, with her best gun being a semi-auto pistol. You compare that to some of the meta operators that get played nowadays, the L85 of Sledge or the SMG-11 of Sledge, the M762 from Sophia, either of Ash's weapons, they just so massively outdo anything that Cav can bring to the table. So we'll see what Rocco really wants to do with this one and what he can make work with it.
Yeah, Proco right now not taking too much damage, but it looks like Peach is struggling a little bit in Rafters. But Proco right now making a very bold statement by walking up inside Garage, surrounded by the attacking team, and quickly retreating once they've been discovered. Now, with that being said, all eyes are on Garage right now, and the Jaeger might be able to follow up on this instance, but it looks like no. Both are going to back off immediately, not to waste any kind of body potential, because that would be really bad in the first round. Of course, with that being said, False is not in a great position either. The C4 is going to go out, but not connect against the Hibana, and that's going to leave Garage also in a very peculiar situation. Inverted is going to push up a little bit, but Bandit has that angle on the run-in. Now, we do see a lot of there we go, False taking out Inverted. That's going to be a lot of coordination coming down from the bottom floor on the horizontal play. They're really trying to take care of the vertical play to open up that main CCTV wall that the attackers want to get. Now, I'm not sure if that wall is open. It is now open, and that is why you see that the horizontal play from below is slowly going to start evolving, going back upstairs. Now, Pickle Chin does get that second kill onto Mob, and that's a really good instance. Peach following up, and Peach with a pickle. So many fruits. Following up with a triple kill on the team into a flawless round. I think, in general, only maybe 2 attackers got inside and not even close to the bomb site. It was just an immediate one after another. The tempo has been set really high into this round. Into this set. And it's going to be up to All4One to match up in the same dance as Skams flop.
Very solid round. That flawless, too, is just very interesting to see here for the side of Skams flop. Now the Frost is not going to be tempted, and it's interesting. Gym Bedroom is the choice with a lineup that looks very much like Basement. And it could be its own attempted fake out, but there's no wall denier. There's no, what do you call it? There's no, yeah, so there's no wall denier. There's no, that has to be a spawn peak prepped.
I believe it would be.
Yeah, it has to be, just because they're not reinforcing it as crouch height. Yeah. There's no wall denier, there's no castle. Both operators you very regularly expect to see on Gym Bedroom. To be fair, knowing the roster of Skams flop at least to a degree between Croco and Peach, I can't see anyone on this roster really bringing the castle. No one's gonna handicap themselves as no. This is this strat.
This is one of the most unique clubhouse strats I've ever seen. I would call this the all or nothing strat. This is quite literally, Cherish, balls to the wall against Jacuzzi. I mean, if Peach fails this defensive run, then I'm sorry. I think this snowball effect is really going to take forward. And it looks like Peach already backing up, realizing that a majority of the attack is coming from the eastern side, hoping to go for CCTV. Now, of course, we do see some defensive fare there with Kid Cujo, and I wouldn't be surprised if Peach is going to reinforce that Jacuzzi wall very shortly.
Yeah, I can't see him sticking on that for good. It's probably, you know, once you start getting utility thrown at you, the shield busted, you will end up giving it away. And he's gone very aggressive and found Arcturus. The Thermite has fallen. At least there's some walls being opened here, and there's just so much aggression from the side of Skams flop. Even False on the smoke is running out here, looking for whatever he can find. As now Pickle is going to be the next one to find a frag alongside False, getting aggressive onto Mob. All4One has no response to this extreme aggression being brought here by Skams flop. They're peeking everything, they're running out of everywhere, and they are just going absurdly crazy here.
I would like to say that is the very first kill that All4One has gotten so far onto Croco, and that is going to be a near flawless round 2 win from Skams flop, securing that final kill on a run out outside of Garage. Wow, again, I don't really think anyone on All4One's side managed to get inside of Clubhouse. And that is a very alarming second round coming out. It's only been 2 rounds, sure. But unless maybe Skams flop goes for a much more non-aggressive approach for their defense, it's looking like this is not going to come close to stopping for them.
Yeah, that's the big thing that you had mentioned. Specifically, it's the not getting in the building part. Every single one of those peaks was... Did you see that too?
The Tachanka?
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe I didn't take my brain miss. Okay, I did see it. Beautiful. So, Tachanka, I mean, at this point, with the Tachanka coming out, I almost want to say they're not taking it too seriously, but I think that would be a little unfair for me to say. The Tachanka does have some viable uses. I mean, maybe 1 out of every 100 top matches that we see. But if you have to choose one map, one site to use Tachanka effectively, it's very well going to be Church and Arsenal, because there's actually a surprising amount of turret spots that you can use Tachanka on. Now, keep in mind, with me saying that, this is going to make this entire VOD very outdated, because soon enough, not too far away, we're going to have a Tachanka rework where he's going to possibly become one of the most powerful operators in all of Siege. And with that being said, we're seeing quite literally balls to the wall again on the wrong spawn. Everything they've prepped up for is not going to work out too much. Peach waiting for the attack on... Wow, okay, Kid Cujo on the other side of the map, on that eastern side, taking out Inverted already. That diffuser's waiting a little bit, I believe, on the Thermite as well. We had seen the spawn seemingly AFK, not moving. But I guess he lucked out a little bit, because everyone spawning east is having bullets rain down on them. Arctus finally coming back to us, back from the grave. Gonna be roaming around by himself with that diffuser. Luckily waiting out that spawn peak a lot because the aggressive plays have only benefited everything we have seen, excuse me, from Skams Flop so far. All4One, I cannot stress this enough, has not been able to get into the main building of the map whatsoever. They've all been picked off on the outside or just barely skirting their way in, not even close to the bomb site, only the vertical play. But just as we say that though, making me eat my own words, Blade goes through not one but 2 kills on the Peach and Cujo, and that's going to be a lot of utility off the map. You get rid of the Valkyrie, you get rid of your Doc with that ACOG and your healing abilities. The only heals we had seen Peach use was on Kid Cujo, and apparently that's going to be all for naught. And with that being said, it's a 3v4 situation, and I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, chat, it seems like All4One has woken up a little bit. Blade Storm still holding, Blade Hawk still waiting at the top of Moto Hatch, and that's Arcturus taking down False, and that's a 2v4 situation, so it's not looking good so much for the defense at all, and even False admits that he got smoked, and you know what? He very well did.
Yeah, 2-on-4 with the Tachanka turret in your pocket is very interesting. It's
Bomb located by
feels like it gets rid of the point of picking the operator because he brings an okay SMG. He's a 3 armor and not the most utility out of his pocket utility, or the general utility. He's gonna go running through the breach and find the Blade Hawk, what remained in the smoke. Not gonna be shot much yet. There he goes. It's all up to Procto on his lonesome on the Rook. He has to hold off here against 2 defenders, or 2 attackers at least. He's gonna see 1 and take the head off of Mob. It's all up to Og, the newest member of All4One, and no! In fact, Skams' Flop is gonna win this out. Procto with 3 huge kills in the 1 versus 3. This is insane that he was able to win this out. And that is a flawless site rotation when it shouldn't have happened, really, for Skams Flop.
I think the big question we all have here right now is, why did that work? It seemed like the strategy for the attacking team was so well thought out, especially opening up Church Wall, picking a safe spot to seemingly plant down that diffuser and run away, having multiple sight angles as well to watch that diffuse go down. But Procto, in the nick of time, made sure to get that 3K and deny that diffuse from even planting down. Now, with all that being said and done, we are going to see Capcan go into the Legion and Nomad go into that Sledge into round 4. Again, this is a very defender-sided map. We established this, but we normally don't see it this defender-sided.
Yeah, I think, especially losing Gym Bedroom as hard as All4One did, or rather winning Gym Bedroom as strongly as Skams Flop did. You don't expect that at all, especially. And to be able to just clutch up like that and win through these sites with relative ease, aside from last round, it's very
5 seconds left before
it bodes well, or it bodes well for Skams Flop, and it does not look good for All4One. They've got a total of 5 kills on their side, while the top frag of Skams Flop, Pickle, is on 5 himself. That is obviously not counting the rest of his team, and False with that suppressed T5 is going to find the first frag onto Blade Hawk once more before he even gets in the building.
A very nice play from T-Hawk. I'm sorry, from False, taking down Blade Hawk already. I mean, I guess it was good for him too. He died early on. He doesn't have to suffer for much longer. But if this continues on, again, we're seeing a snowball effect right now for All4One, where they just seemingly cannot get it together. I know I'm being a little harsh early on, but look. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that was about to be a kill from Peach again. And so far, it just seems like the defensive team just knows what angles to hold seemingly all the time. They're like clockwork, rotating around how the attackers are playing. But of course, there's a little bit of resistance as well. That's going to be Peach going down as well. And Picklechin, though, able to take that refrag on Og L, and that's going to be him going down next as well. As an attacker, you're losing a lot of very valuable attackers early on. You lost your Capital, which is great for post-plant situations such as the firebolts or even getting the smoke plants down. No longer going to be seen. Proco playing on that pulse is going to have a prime opportunity to use his C4 and potentially get, not again, another kill, and that's going to be Mob being taken down. Of course, the counter vertical play from Arcturus wants to find that pulse to see if he gets greedy, but it's not going to happen. However, False gets a little greedy, and Picklechin does take back onto Arcturus, and Kid Kojo finishing the round on Inverted, bringing it to a 4-0 lead. Now, of course, we had seen that 4-0 earlier tonight as well between from Dynasty and Dojo. But honestly, I feel like the tempo is a lot different this time around.
Absolutely. And just because we did see it, like you mentioned earlier, but we're already through 4 rounds in about 15 minutes. That is extremely fast, I feel like, just breezing through this one so far. So
Yeah, it's a very awkward situation to be in.
Defenders, protect your bombs.
Okay, so we're getting, sorry for like just not talking out of nowhere. We're like getting whispered to in the in our ears. So well, you're gonna have to repeat that one, Carpe. So we said Picklechin is yams. Peach is peach.
So to clarify, we unfortunately got a little of the rosters wrong a tiny bit. Some of the players on Skams are returning contestants on, of course, Skams' sides. They just changed their names, which, I mean, at this kind of level, it's a little hard to follow sometimes. It's not as well documented as, say, a pro player changed their name up a little bit. But I believe we are still correct on All4One side. So again, we do apologize, but all things considered, you know, even if they do change their name, I think their lasting legacy on map 1 of Clubhouse has been phenomenal so far. But hey, I mean, round number 5 could be the chance to bring it all back for All4One. Their attacks, all things considered, have been pretty good. Speaking of which, Mob takes down False in the beginning, but here's the thing about the defense. Not only did False go down, but there's 3 other people waiting to clap back onto Mob. Now, Mob is in a dangerous situation because he knows he's not alone. He knows someone else is going to contest up there. And that's a really good micro strategy as well. Just holding back a little bit, waiting for those attackers to maybe get a little aggressive or push back and allow his attacking friends to push up and make a little bit of noise. But it looks like it's not going to be too easy of a thing to do because Kojo does find a few bullets, I believe, on the Bladehawk. And when Bladehawk does luckily get away, it looks like the majority of the push is going to be on this eastern side, opening up the CCTV, opening up, the CCTV walls, getting in there, and having the entire battle take place in that consolidated construction area.
So a good start for All4One. They've picked up the construction focus. They've got everything going for them pretty well here so far. As it's now the jacuzzi wall being open. No freaky strat being played here, but Arcturus almost going down. The Ella is going to swing out and pick that one up, but Proco is quickly refragged at least by Og, sitting just behind Arcturus there. Now the first firebolt's going to push out. I believe that is Kid Kojo. No, that is the Jaeger sitting down there from Yams. We'll see at least where this defense can go. They have a minute left to defend, but a body less than All4One. And on that, though, All4One is playing very slowly, very cautiously, and not really getting all that much info. Double Swing is going to come out and gain a lot of damage onto the Zofia, but now she's down. That's Mob going down. We'll see if Kid Kojo is going to look for the C4, but no, he's just going to finish off Mob, and Pickle is also going to finish off Inverted. They're both pushing forward as Og picks up one at least, but no, it's Preach actually to find Bladehawk, and the hipfire Deagle is going to knock down Og with a nice headshot. And
Yeah, let's see that again.
Round. Oh, he tried to kill,
out of
he tried to kill his
Counter-Strike.
teammate too.
Straight out of Counter-Strike. Not something you're going to see way too often. That might be the only time on ESA we're ever going to see what pretty much appears to be a double kill with the the hipfire Deagle. But wow, Cherish, that was fantastic. And 5-0 so far. Man, I really hope we don't have to I really hope we can stay around a little bit longer, but it's looking like Skams wants this game to kind of end. So far, Picklechin in that lead going 8-1. Whereas the top fragger on All4One side is 3-5. Kind of a big difference right there. It's just a matter of switching sides, possibly getting that defensive run and just throwing the attackers off. But I mean, returning again to, I believe, Church and Arsenal.
Attackers need to locate and
Returning the
defuse
gym
bombs.
and Arsenal. I'm sorry, Church and Arsenal again. We do see the Frost and the Caveira come out. Proco, we didn't really see use the Caveira really at all in that first game. I don't even believe Proco really got much of a kill, let alone an interrogation. But the Frost is an interesting choice as well, because you don't really see it too often other than really low-level ranked play or really high-level ranked play. And outside of competitive, in the competitive, forget about it, because people know to look for those Frost mats and scout them out with their drones.
10 seconds remaining.
So, this is
5 seconds
just,
left.
I mean, obviously it's 5-0 and it's a very comfortable lead.
Attackers
The
are
kills
moving out to
total
locate a bomb and defuse it.
on its own shows that, but, I mean, this is just Skams flop playing with their food at this point. They feel that they can really do whatever. I'm interested to see what they'll pull out on the attack, regardless of how this round ends.
This could be huge if Peach gets this kill, but no, it looks like unfortunately not. Arctis inadvertently choosing wisely and not going for that angle on the northwestern side, because that would be the diffuser down so far away from anybody else. And I guess they lucked out.
Yeah, that didn't really come of anything. This defense is very aggressive. Well, that peak will come of something. Or something will come of that peak, rather. Inverted is going to fall for the 6th round in a row. As the Frost is going to find one and not die. Bladehawk got shot behind Arcturus and didn't die. As this round is going sideways for sure here for All4One. Rocco is just big chill, and he's not doing anything. A nice shot from Yams is going to take the head off of Mob, but Arcturus is at least going to try and salvage something, picking up 2 for himself. As it is up to Kid Kojo on the explosive downstairs. Oh, the cab is finally making something happen, and oh no! Whoa! It was a trap kill.
Frost,
I thought he was gonna interrogate outside, but no, Arcturus hit a frost mat actually.
Unfortunate. The Frost mat and to an extent the Caveira putting in a lot more work than we're used to seeing, which is not at all inside competitive Siege, and good for them. I mean, it's not often that you see a Frost mat, so I guess, you know, a lot of teams like All4One may not be looking around for it. But here is the real decider for how map 1's going to go. We are switching sides now into round 7. It's 6-0 so far for Skams flop. But if they're on the attacking side, they're at a disadvantage over the defenders of All4One. If they can bring this back right now, this is the only chance to bring back map 1. Church and Arsenal looking like your very standard setup in terms of operators. We have your Kaid for church walls, or even any of the church walls. The Wamai for the Jaeger replacement to throw around any projectiles that come in its way. And the attacking side
Attackers need to locate
is
and
very
defuse any
roam
bombs.
clear heavy. We have Peach on the Jackal pick. We do have the Ying for the blinds for that coordinated push at the very end. And for that early on roam kill, we have False with a hint of Dokkaebi, able to get those cameras hacked and just able to completely take over the site, especially with Valkyrie on the board.
Attackers have
So
located
this
the bomb.
is short of a lion. I think both Yams and Kikojo are opting into picks they just prefer to help out with, but I mean, short of a Lion, this is a very toxic lineup. Probably a Blitz as well, I would assume.
Or Blackbeard.
Oh, Blackbeard as well, yeah.
Or Recruit.
I don't think you can pick Recruit.
You
anymore.
cannot, but I mean, he's
That's
still
so
a
sad.
character. He's still an operator.
Yeah, that is
Oh.
true. Oh, this
Well,
is
hold
a-
on to your butts.
Yeah, this is a dirt rush. There's bullet holes that Og is going to get the first frag on at least. As now the Dokkaebi with that Boss G actually is going to try and do what she can to help out. The rush is coming very slowly. This is looking like something off of what is it? The strat roulette. There it is. Here comes the full push. Everyone's stacked up on top of each other, and the first kill is going to come from False onto Arcturus. Bladehawk right back onto Pickle. At the least, the AUG from, or the ACOG rather, from Peach is looking forward. A nice shot from Mob as well, cleans up one. The rest of the Skams flop is going to abandon the push, and a minute in, we have 4 kills already.
Yeah, a very, very nasty lineup. It looks like they're not ready to give up on the blue push, however. The barbed wire is going to get in the Dokkaebi's way, and False is going to be alerted to their own presence. Mob takes down False, and that's going to be Kid Kujo, last one alive now in a 1v4 situation. Maybe they just didn't want the 6-0, oh, sorry, the 7-0 flop to go down because they were hardcore dedicated to that blue push, and I mean, now what is Kujo gonna do? You could keep pushing in the blue, and all the eyes are on you. The fuser is down. You have a minute 23. You actually have a surprising amount of time to work with. There are bodies to your left and to your right, and despite what you might think, Kujo, not in front of you. With that being said, though, it's going to be instant death, All4One with a near flawless round 7. First round, they will pick up on map 1, going to them, and that is going to be an interesting second round into this second half, because honestly, this could go either way right now. Was it a fluke? I want to say no.
So, yeah, I don't think it was much of a fluke coming up here, but I mean, I feel like, again, I already mentioned it. This is just Skams flop rather, just playing with their food at this point. They're picking what they want and not really what needs to be picked, and they're just playing to their comfort and just very aggressively. Because of that, we're going to see a Finka and a Glaz, neither of which we really see much of at all in competitive.
Attackers need to locate and defuse the bombs.
And it's just, I don't think this is being taken too seriously.
Attackers have located the bomb.
So we'll have to see how this round ends up. It could be that we're headed right to Oregon after this one. So
Yeah,
I mean, obviously every round hereafter it could be, hey, either we play or we head to Oregon, because it was a 6-0 defensive half from Skams flop.
You know, all things considered, I think we're going to see map 2 very shortly. I have a lot of faith in All4One, but they're playing this to the best, well, seemingly to the best of their ability, but it seems like right now they are just struggling so much with, I would say, mostly their gunfights. Their positioning has been a little lackluster as well, but inverted going 0-6 so far is not a great sign to see. But in terms of overall kill counts, 4 kills on the board isn't too terrible, but we do see a lot of 8s and 9s and above or below on the attacking side as well. With that being said, already some pivotal reinforcements seemingly not reinforced, though I guess it's up for debate whether or not that construction wall should be reinforced or not. There's a lot of debate on that one, but now is not the time for it. And already logistics completely indefensible, and bedroom already easily conquered. I'm not really sure what the defense is doing down all the way in Church and Basin. I think they were expecting a dirt rush going all the way up into bedroom, but hey, no, not quite. They're already practically on site. Now would be the time for the ultimate flank, but it might be too late already, because Paco gets a grenade kill and Og pops back on the Kujo. Peach and Kujo killing each other, and that's gonna be Blade taking down Paco as well. It's down to a 2v3 situation, and Pickle and False, last one's alive again, seemingly struggling on this attack, all bunching up on each other, being taken down, and a team kill to go on top of it as well. Not a great position to be in. Now, with that being said, the smoke grenade hitting yourself as well. We do see bullet holes coming out from, I believe, Octorus, and that is going to be a lot of very favorable and comfortable positioning, all things considered, for the defense. But through the wall, that is going to be one on the board from the Jackal. I'm sorry, the Ash. Falls with a DMR sniper kill onto Inverted, again going 0-7 now. Not a great look to be in, and it's going to be up to False, picking up Pickle Chin and bringing this lineup to even standstill between the two. There's only a one soft wall dividing the two different teams, two different players, and that diffuser going down. Now it's gonna be up to the Jaeger to rotate around, but if they're gonna get caught out by Pickle Chin, it's down to Bladehawk to bring this back. If they want this win so bad, they want to keep going and not go to map 2, but map 2 is where we're going because False takes down Bladehawk, and it's gonna be 7-1 across the board going into map 2 in Skams' favor.
Wow. What a shot there to end it as well. That was very crazy. So with that, yeah, that is Skams Flop's map going their way 7-1. False and Yams, I believe that is, dropping 10 frags apiece. Inverted on the other side says, I'm nuts, as he goes 0-7. So definitely quite a fast map. Quite a fast map we had there, as we are going to see how Oregon plays out. Oregon could be very much the same. Clubhouse is very structured in terms of how the map plays out and how strats are. So we're gonna have to see if it's very structured again, or if it's just gonna be Skams Flop rolling through everything.
I mean, it's going to be really hard to contest what Skams Flops did that first map. Again, you have to consider for a Clubhouse that Clubhouse has been around for a long time. It was the very first map in Siege to be reworked. And since then, because we've had so many maps come out, removed, and reworked since then, it's still a very structured map, like you said, Cherish, and a lot of teams know exactly how they want to play the map. And with those strategies in mind, a lot of those teams, like Skams, know how to play around it with their own, frankly, very chaotic style and destructive style to go with it. Oregon could be a different story because we had touched upon this in the last set where Oregon's the newest map in the competitive pool. It's been reworked. So again, kind of a Wild West situation where anything can kind of go for a lot of the defensive sides. And the ways the attacking teams can push as well can be completely different. This could be a bit of a shutdown for Skams Flops, but All4One needs to put it into overdrive and give 120% more than they did in map 1.
Yeah, it is gonna be quite the time. I think it's very favored for Skams Flops. I don't think it was I don't think it happened to be like an All4One struggling on Clubhouse type of thing. They regularly played Clubhouse last season and regularly did pretty well. It could be, I guess, growing pains of picking up AUG and maybe shifting roles around, but it's still so rough seeing a 6-0 perfect half while Skams Flop have been picking operators like Cav, like Frost, and just generally being carefree with their operator picks. So we're gonna have to see from there. It's
I
I
mean,
don't
if
know.
if you are if you're All4One, you have to hope so much that your only problem is growing pains because all things considered, we saw a really, really poor performance from them. And again, that chaotic energy that we saw from all Skams Flops isn't something you see too often, but you better bet your sweet Gippy that that's all is the problem right now. Because if you cannot correct it in map 1, You're gonna if you can't correct it in map 2 either, then you are pretty much done with ESA Contender, I think. But again, Scams flops are a wildly different beast as well. I don't want to come off as too harsh and All4One. They seem like they know what they're doing, but things like inverted going 0 and 7 is straight up unacceptable for this level of play.
Yeah, it is going to be very interesting for sure. Hopefully, he can really bring it back for himself here on map 2. Oregon, I have faith in him. Oregon, the way it's set up is very much, it doesn't do well to rushes, really. There's a lot of very tight doorways and a lot of tight paths to go through. But enough talking about Oregon. Oregon. We're going to be jumping on in now. Finally getting onto this one, seeing where it's going to end up.
Now, unfortunately for All4One, once again, Skams is going to be starting off on the defensive side, which is where they got pretty much all of their wins last round. Of course, they did get a few attacking wins to set off the map into map 2. But again, these bans could literally be anything except for maybe Thatcher, Mira, Echo being quarantined. Probably Capital and Valkyrie, if I had to take a wild guess. Thatcher being number 1. But again, you are at a very scary disadvantage for All4One because Skams, again, starting off a defense is not a great position to be in.
Definitely looking at an uphill battle for sure. Ying is the ban from All4One, interestingly.
Ying, yeah.
The Thatcher ban isn't really. I like to talk about the Ying ban because that isn't a ban we really see. Obviously, since her changes at the beginning of this season, I believe it was, she got a fourth Candela and 2 smokes back in her kit. Thankfully, the fourth Candela was removed, but she still is definitely a menace. And I think, honestly, removing the fourth Candela is a softer change than removing the smokes would have been. I like both changes, giving her smokes and giving her the fourth Candela. It just happens that with smokes, she can very much solo execute on a site. And I think that has to be like a troll ban, right?
The Warden, I want to say
Yeah.
no. I want to say no, and here's why, right? You remove the Ying, you remove the Warden, so I feel like there's something else up one of the team's sleeves for the attack. Because while we don't have Warden anymore, I think we could possibly see a lot of maybe smoke play. Again, I'm trying to be a little generous here because the Warden ban, all things considered, can realistically be seen as a troll ban because I don't think I've ever seen Warden in a comp game since his release. But he does have use, and we just don't get to see it too often for a very particular reason because no one really brings smokes too much anymore now that Bank is banned. But all things considered, maybe there's a strategy in mind and maybe it was a target ban for Oregon. That's the best we can really hope for, Cherish.
Yeah, there's a lot of, I know, looking at, especially earlier on, when we watched it in the match beforehand, we saw a lot of positions held by defenders that were kind of close by and around corners and tight angles. And in that, I mean, Ying thrives, and she would do really well to cut off these tight angles and a lot of these doorways and with the smokes and candelas, and she does well to push out operators with those candelas. So it's very interesting to see. False is running shotgun pistol Mira. Interestingly, the ITA-12L is not a shotgun you ever see because it happens to be on operators with either the Vector, in the case of Mira, or the C7E, and I guess the PDW as well for Jackal, which happen to just be some of the better, or if not the best, guns in the game in the case of the C7E. But how do you feel about actually something that I just noticed, the Oryx pick here?
Now, the Oryx pick makes a lot of sense, and I can tell you why, because there's a lot of rotation potential on Oregon. The old Oregon was the same way, and the new Oregon is just built for Oryx. I guess it helps that they were released at the same time as well, but there's a lot of hatches when it comes to Oregon. There's a lot of little rotations that maybe your impacts can't fulfill, but just having a lot of chaotic energy that we're seeing on Skams, I feel like Oryx is the perfect addition to this, just because he can rotate and swerve his way around a map so easily. It's not something we see too often, but then again, we also don't see teams like Skams too often either to fully utilize it. So we can just take maybe a little peek at Oryx to see what he can bring out, and we can see a lot of rotation potential. And Bronco taking full advantage of that right into an elevated freezer kill. Beautiful work straight out of Ocean's 11. That's going to be Bronco. Probably best double kill we have seen tonight. Cujo following up on the Blade Hawk kill as well. And that is not going to end right there. We are going to see a potential another kill for Cujo. A double kill back-to-back. And that's going to be Og taking the clap back retake on the Cujo. But that is not going to, never mind. Double kill, not going to last much longer because that's going to be the Oryx we were talking about previously. Peach finishing it off. And my God, what a crazy chaotic first round as well. Proco, man. Let's take a step back, Cherish. The situation is you're in kitchen and the sledge is droning out seemingly in the safest position possible in the freezer below to make sure his teammate's okay. What I feel like there was a huge lack of communication, because not only was Proco on his drone completely defenseless for that headshot that Proco gives, I'm sorry, thank you, Inverted gets, but immediately, without any hesitation, falling down the hatch and getting a kill while falling down that hatch. If anything, that's a really quick play. You couldn't even call that out. But on top of it, that's a huge mental block in their minds. There's a huge breach of trust right there as well, because that sledge was meant to defend that operator in the freezer, and they failed to do their job, and it cost them the round.
And I think something to note, you had said it before, the movement ability of the Oryx, it really showed there, because he was able to rotate up so quickly, as Proco is now caught on half health for some reason. I would have to assume an impact or something similar. But the point is, this is an interesting Mira setup here.
Oh.
Very, actually. Everyone attacks this site from Big Tower. So, to give the Mira in Big Tower...
Okay, I see what's going on. So they're 100% expecting All4One to attack from the southern part, going to master bedroom. Because if you look closely, you do see the wall from attic going into master bedroom, where Ella is completely non-reinforced. So with that mirror in mind, if they break open that wall, or at least get the call out that they're approaching master, that is going to be a gigantic line of sight for the defenders to use on the attackers needing to get to the site. Now, as long as someone takes care of master bedroom closet wall, that's going to be the only way to attack from the southern part of the map. But I don't really know, because no one's taking advantage of that either. So what's the ultimate game plan for Skams right here? And honestly, Cherished, I'm a little worried. I think they might be overextending this round a lot by giving these almost false strategies to the attacking team to use.
Yeah, this is very interesting. The mirror window is going to be popped now, which makes no sense to me, because why not just abuse that? But C4 waiting, hits nothing. Well, Pickle Chin and False are running around downstairs too with dual iron sights vectors, and it's Rocco to find the first frag on Bob, who has also not been having too great of a time. Inverted at least is going to get one, or rather Arcturus is going to get one right back on the Kojo. But right again, Rocco for 2. He's found his second frag as the first frag grenade, and he's going to come out and find no purchase.
Holy
Pickle
crap,
Chin
that's 400
with a
IQ.
nice shot through the bars. That was insane onto Blade Hawk, especially with those iron sights. Those things look obnoxious. This is falling apart for All4One. That's another frag outside. Arcturus is, excuse me, Arcturus is all that remains. He's got 1, not 2. It is Mira False to pick that one up. And 2-0 now. Looks like Oregon's going the same way that Club did.
I want to talk about real quick that vertical play going from meeting hall into the attic, because that mirror's open. It gets popped open, which again I don't really understand why the attackers did that. And there's a rotation going in the attic. What Skams is doing is giving false leads, or I guess red herrings, to the attackers to use and take advantage of, where it's like a Venus flytrap strategy almost, where they give a little bit to the attackers, but then there's a trap right nearby. And with that, there had to have been some sort of intel letting the defenders know that that mirror wall was open and the attackers were approaching it, because that C4 went out and then a kill using that same strategy that seemed like a misplay from Skams was used against the attackers. That is some of the biggest brain plays I have ever seen in Rainbow Six Siege.
I get why you said false leads. Because false is the one that's been playing Mira. I knew the pun that you were making even before you made the pun.
Yeah, I totally on purpose.
Well, we're gonna see more Mira play, and this is definitely a threat. This is like, I don't understand. Like, this is
this one's gonna take a second for me to understand.
5 seconds
Like,
to insertion.
Okay.
Take a quick second to break this one down and try and.
I feel like an archaeologist right now. I'm digging up the strategies that Skams is doing, because I am just too human to understand what's going on. Inverted, taking advantage of the situation, going for those early picks, not gonna find any damage, but the Goyo shield's on the Mira. I think I understand what's going on, but the thing is, the Goyo shields, I'm not sure how they're supposed to be activated. My best guess to understand what's going on is that the Goyo shields are going to be activated by the attackers. The mirror shield's going to go down, and that's going to allow a lot of a position denial away from those Goyo fires to allow that mirror shield to get a kill from far away. That's my absolute best guess, and I can't really think of much else. But in the meantime, False already going DBNO, and that is going to allow a small lead for All4One, but it looks like no one's really taking advantage of the situation just yet. No one's really found out that she's down, but Pickle Chin finding Bladehawk barely alive right now, and it might be the double kill follow-up very shortly. Only one of those people are going to come out alive, but Cujo getting the revive back onto Mira, and that's going to be 5v4 once again. Now, Inverted not willing to give up too easily, wants to go for the kill again. He knows very well that Pickle Chin's probably in that corner. Drone goes down, and that's going to be shot out instantly, and that's going to be hopefully taking advantage of it. But no, Kid Cujo is waiting from across the map to take down Inverted. Wow, what beautiful coordination and teamwork. And Arctis takes down Pickle Chin to follow it up, waiting for that second follow-up as well. Not going to find it. False, though, not willing to give up so easily, takes down Mob as well. And suddenly the attackers are in a 2v3 situation, trying to grab back whatever they can. Now, there's a minute left on the clock. That diffuser's nowhere near the site. Keep in mind, I didn't even realize this. We didn't see a single plant last map until the very last round. And even then, it was kind of negligible. But right now, we're getting the closest thing for All4One to a plant that we might see, but hey, Peach taking down Og, and that's gonna be Arctis with the refrag, but no, it is not enough. Rocco coming at the very last second to take down Arctis, and again, 3-0. Wow, holy moly.
Yeah, this has been true domination from from Scam Flops, rather. My bad, not they're dominating All4One, and now is Meeting Kitchen that's being chosen, the other kitchen site, obviously, as the constant picks of the Goyo, Mira, and Oryx are coming out, as we'll see Praco swap to an Ella. Once again, Blackbeard is opted into by Bladehawk this time, not really an operator we see much anymore. a lot of the attackers really favor. So something that I've actually think I've just pieced together is oh, that's a weird visual bug that the drones are just down there, even though they're driving around somewhere. Oh, it's the players. That's so weird. That's annoying. Anyway, something interesting that I really realized is, so the meta has really shifted and revolved around lately to being very stall focused and just slowing down the attack as much as possible and waiting for that last second shove type action to come down. And as a result, the defense or the attackers have really started to pull in and focus on operators with low time to kill guns, so that they can just win those gunfights as quick as possible and move on to the next target in those 20-second engagements at the very end of the round. So that's why I feel like we don't really see Blackbeard anymore. He's very slow with his shield already, and his gun has a very low rate of fire. It's very slow going, and I mean his gadget, his whatever they're called, the shields. I don't remember the proper name.
Yeah, Blackbeard.
They're not they're not all that fantastic once it comes down to them being broken out. Drone is going to be put right in the face of Pickle, and he's not going to get much off it. This is very aggressive considering this isn't even properly set up here by Skams to be playing over in Big Tower.
Yeah, this sight that we see right now for the defending team isn't something we see too often, but Procco getting one, but unfortunately not able to get two. That's going to be Bladehawk on that Blackbeard, taking down Procco. And like you said, all things considered, with a really high coordinated team, I would say Blackbeard's the attacking version now of Caveira, where it's really good in lower tier scenes or maybe even ranked, but when it comes to a coordinated team that knows how to handle their gunfights, it's not going to work too well, all things considered, most of the time. Mob and Inverted, though, taking down two bodies, and that's going to leave a huge disadvantage for Scam's side. Peach is usually the top fragger for the team, and False coming far, not too far behind. That's going to be Bladehawk going down, and the follow-up from Peach might be coming by very shortly. It seems like All4One has very little intel about what's happening around them, and the chaotic energy from Peach, again, able to rotate around so easily, getting the kill on the AUG 2 floors above, able to secure that so cleanly. And using Oryx, it's no problem at all using those rotations or those hatches in a downwards vertical motion in their favor. Now that plant was about to go down, but the Mira with the follow-up, it's going to be False finding a Mob, and it's going to be Inverted, the last one alive. With that G36, is it going to be enough, or is that C4 going to spell doom? Now with that being said, it looks like that C4 is not going to do a whole lot of effort, but Inverted needs to find that angle on False, and while they do find it, it's not going to be enough to kill. Both on Scams are so low, but it doesn't matter. The flank from Peach using that Oryx so well is gonna be Inverted being taken down, and yet another round going for Scams flops.
Yeah, and that's the thing you mentioned. They were both really low. Both of those operators, the Mira and the Oryx, were below 25 HP. But that really doesn't matter in the end because there's two of them compared to just the one from All4One. It was just, I believe you said it was Inverted. I can't fully remember.
It was, yes.
Yeah, so it was Inverted. He actually picked up his first kill out of the two maps, so that's nice. But 1 and 11 scoreline over two maps so far is not really anything to write home about. But yeah, as I was saying, you know, even if they are very low, that is still one more body than you have. That is one more person flanking or watching an angle or any of that you don't have. So very good job from Peach to be on the flank, always on the move, and on there watching. As, oh, this is a fun strat that we've seen sometimes before. Teams will like completely abandon where the bomb site is, reinforce elsewhere, and go and try and trick someone. So all the drones of All4One are hearing that it is set up to be a downstairs site, and they're prepping downstairs, and Arcturus is going to find the bomb.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb.
Oh no. Well, that could go either way because usually, even though it might be kid's bedroom, we do usually see some starts of the around on the attacking team go for construction regardless and then take over attic. But that's going to be a little bit more difficult this time when everyone's down in attic. Of course, and now a secondary way of pushing is going to be Kid Cujo finding Og, and that's going to be an important first kill because you lack a lot of vertical play now with that sledgehammer, especially on attic. Now, of course, we're not willing to give up just yet because Kid Cujo wants to find that second kill. Of course, Pete able to rotate so easily on that Oryx, uses it to his advantage and brings it back with double kill on Scam's side, taking out Inverted and Arcturus going as well. That's going to be down to your Blackbeard again, not even 30 seconds into the round. You're down to Blackbeard, who has virtually no utility other than just raw killing. Actually, nay, I want to say not even killing power, just self-protecting power with those shields. But those shields only do so much when you're up against Scams. In a 1v4 situation, you get almost one, but Scams flop, taking it over, and then Peach against the Blackbeard, and that is going to be another round on the board. That might be one of the quickest rounds in ESA history, Cherished. And All4One is struggling.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the fastest rounds I've ever casted. It was, I don't even think I casted in it really. It was just over a minute, and it was definitely a round. So that was very fast, and I guess it played perfectly really into what Scams Flop wanted to do there. They wanted to kind of bait out the full push together and have Peach just rotate on up on his own, which he did, gave some backup up there to
Attackers need to locate and
Kid
defuse as many
Kojo,
bombs as they can.
at which point they were able to very quickly win out the rest of the round. So, interesting to see, too, by the way, is the Blitz. Oh, my voice got all weird for a second. The Blitz got picked up here from Inverted. He's going to try and create some pressure, and once again, it is the full basement setup here. All4One have to know it's upstairs for sure this time, because I'm pretty sure they saw it. I hope. But we'll see where it goes. They know this hatch is open, so they have to be expecting that they're probably upstairs. I think Arcturus got his drone again into the bomb site. That feels so bad for Scams Flop. I really want to see this work out once.
I'm sorry,
it's not
if they're
gonna work.
5-0, I don't feel bad.
Well, okay, yes. I agree with that. At the same time, I just want to like see this joke strap work.
I mean,
that's what I feel bad about.
Don't get me wrong, I want to see it too, but I don't really think it's gonna work out that well. There may be a great lead for Scams, but I wouldn't say it's you know, worthy of that great of a lead. But all things considered, right now we do see the Blitz pick from Inverted, and it seems like this is kind of a last-minute strategy coming down from All4One side. I mean, there's only really so much you can do at this point. Bladehawk taking down False, and that's going to be a good start. Taking down your anchoring Mira, or at least I'm hoping an anchoring Mira. Picklechin finds the refrag, though, on the Og, and he's going to be moving on back, not wanting to give away their positioning too much. Arctus, though, on the Hibana finds Procto, and that's going to be one of your two top fraggers gone. Of course, they're all kind of top fraggers, but you still have Peach and Cujo last left alive, and I would compare them akin to Batman and Robin because they're able to follow up on each other so well. Now, of course, you lose Og and you almost lose Arcturus as well. And this is going to be a crazy situation for Peach to be in, overextending himself just too much. He had 3 bodies looking at him, and he paid the price. That's going to leave it down to Kid Cujo with the Scorpion without any iron sight, and they're still going to find a kill. Not only that, they almost got a double kill to go with it, but that's All4One taking round number 6, and that's going to be the last round in the first half. Finally going to be one round on the board for the once attacking team.
Yeah, but now they have swapped over to this attack. They're now on the defense. It is All4One running up to Kid's dorm first. We'll see what they can make work here on this site as randoms are coming out. Just kidding. It is a Dokkaebi and a Finka picked at the last moment alongside a Fuse from False. See what he can do here on the least picked operator, I think, that really exists on the attack. Very, very few people ever play that. Of course, I mean, Finka gets played a lot by Brazilian teams, at least in the pro scene. A lot of Brazilian teams really like using Finka for faster strats. I know teams that play a bit of Nook, but Fuse doesn't really see any play at all. He's a 3-speed operator. Even if he has or 3 armor rather. I always get confused with it for whatever reason. Like I think 3 armor and I always say 3 speed. It makes no sense to me.
In your defense, Cherish, he may be 1 speed, but his fuse charges when they go off, those are 4 speed.
Yeah, and it's so
10 seconds
a pet peeve, or not a pet peeve because that's the wrong term, but just a frustration of mine is that they don't have an indicator and stuff. So you just have to look for these little hockey pucks that blast each other around and scatter on the floor. It's so frustrating to deal with.
I would not be surprised if we encounter that same exact situation in this round right now. Right away, Picklechin does not care at all. The Finka charge goes down. That means a little bit of stable recoil. That's gonna be Blade Hawk going down. The game has started already. Cujo taking out Peach. Not quite the kill they were looking for, but I guess they'll take whatever they can get. The Mute dies. And with that being said, they're seeing a full gigantic push inside of Trophy Room. Og takes down False. This attack isn't really going in the favor of Skams right away. And we saw this happen last map as well, where those first attacks are very stacked on top of each other in a very claustrophobic doorway. Picklechin taking down Inverted. It's going a lot better than the first attack on the second side did for Skams, but pretty much the same exact result, where Cujo is the last one alive, but instead of running the Zofia, they're running the Finka by themselves, and they know exactly where he is because that's going to be 2 rounds in a row for All4One, taking down Skams.
2 rounds in a row. I guess you could say it's looking a little better, but they're still in quite the hole, down 3 rounds here. At least it's not constantly seeing the the match point little sign that comes up when you're on 6 points, or rather 6 rounds, whatever you want to call it. So we'll see a more standard setup this time through from Skams Flop rather, as we'll see if they can end up making a normal strategy work. We're seeing a Lion pick. Not sure if it's going to be stuck or not. It looks like it will be. The Mira is instead picked by Inverted. Not really an operator we've gotten to see a ton outside of this game, just because it feels like, and it stat-wise it kind of is, that she's pretty close to permaban. She's just a very high ban count. So nice to see that she's getting some play out here now, or at least today. And we'll see what All4One want to do with it and how Inverted wants to play it, where he wants to put his windows. I'm interested to see where the second one's going to go down that he's keeping in his pocket.
10 seconds left before
Yeah, I mean, the mirror pick, again, not something that's probably even scrimmed too often because it's just generally considered to be banned across the board. But bringing mirror out right now, I'm not really... I see one mirror, her black mirror, and that's going to be outside of blue, but it looks like the push is not going to be blue centered. In fact, it's going to be main lobby where the main rush is, and already Picklechin just wanting to get this over with, getting those kills, and that's where the smoke already alerted. That's going to be a little bit of damage going on to Picklechin. Smoke grenade goes down already. Generally, you want to keep saving those by the end of the round, but desperate times call for quite literally, Cherish, desperate measures. Now, the whole team has to go for this huge turtle defense, but the Lion drone does not care about your turtle. They just want to see destruction, pull on destruction. Cujo with that Lion taking down Og already. That's going to be another kill. No. Mob finding Cujo, but Proco claps back on the Arctis, and Mob claps back again on the Falls. And that is going to be 2 people left alive on the defensive team. Bladehawk about to go down, but not before taking Pickle Chin first. It's going to be a 2v2 between the 2 teams. And guess what, Cherish? There's 2 minutes left. It's a 2v1. Generally, you would think there's at least 15 seconds left, but no, there's so much time for the attackers to play with now, and they only have to hunt down 1 operator. It's the permaban one, too, and that's going to be Skams. Bring it to match point in map 2. I guess you could say it's contender point against All4One. And right now, it's seeming like we have not seen a challenge yet for Skams flop.
That's so funny. The way you were casting it, I was like, all right, I'm really getting into this. It's just the end of the round, that type of deal. It's last minute fighting. And then you're like, look at the timer. It's 2 minutes left on the clock. And I was just, it's crazy that that much action was happening in 1 minute. It was down to a 2-on-1, almost feeling like a bit like ranked at times. But this is definitely not really ranked. We're going to see a Twitch picked up by Picklechin. Not really an operator we see anymore. She's seen a lot of nerfs continuously over the past couple of months. Her gadget is kind of lackluster, it feels like at times. And the F2 has been nerfed steadily into the ground. And I think really what killed her is the gadget changes that came through for her. It was very annoying. So, oh, that's a fun one. I like just now that the tasers only do 1 damage. It's really funny to see stuff like that come out in chat. He tagged Mob with one of the tasers and then said Bandit 99.
The Black Mirror coming out again from basement, and we're gonna see that same blue hold again, but you're gonna have to have more than 1 body watching man lobby this time because, well, luckily for them, it's gonna be a blue rush. Well, it's not a rush yet. We gotta hold our horses a little bit, but a blue aggressive peek, and that's gonna be the Hibana pellets going down, and the bandage trick on the mirror wall, perfectly timed, all things considered. Great job. And that's going to be the blue hold already taking over. Flash grenades going down, but the ADSs are there, but they could be burned out, and that's going to be just Flash City. My retinas are burned, but they want that bandit dead, and it's going to be seconds from now, but no, the bandit gives away just a little over half of their life, but the Monty comes down as well, pushing up inside the pillars, forcing the Jaeger to back up into pillars. I'm sorry, back up away from pillars. The Jaeger's stuck right now. They want to keep holding that position, but there's no way they can because the Monty takes them down. Legion now the next target, going forward slowly but surely, but that's going to be just an absolute mess on the basement of Oregon. Bodies going left and right, and Skams right now having a lot of damaged people on the board, but they have that man count. Kid Cujo with a triple kill. Again, just barely 2 minutes left on the clock. And if Bladehawk wants to stay in contender for ESA, they have to get a triple kill and or defuse in the next 40 seconds. The pressure is on, but never mind, it is on as it is off so quickly. Skams flopped, bringing it back 2 maps in a row. Holy moly, everybody. What a fantastic play all around. That is a very, very nasty setup and team that we see tonight.
Yeah, taking just over an hour to finish this one up. That is a 7-1, 7-2 win for Skams flop as they very quickly, very easily take care of All4One there. And it didn't look like they broke a sweat at all. Things were very, very well done by them, even as they definitely were not taking that super seriously. So, yeah.
You know, it's funny, Cherish. We saw the exact same round differential scoreline for the last 2 maps. We saw all of Skams tear through the entirety of the defensive side up until the very last round where they kind of dropped it. But then 2 rounds in a row, going from the end of the first half into the second half, we see All4One win their only 2 rounds with Skams just bringing it back. They let them have their fun, but oh my god. Well, I feel like the wind was knocked out of me and I wasn't even playing. But we are going to be going to a short break while we prepare the interview with Rocco. Now, while we go on this break, keep in mind Rocco has had some fantastic kills in that last round, including the headshot on that defenseless droning sledge into the hatch, going way down into the immediate double kill. Keep that in mind while we have an interview with one of the best aggressive fraggers in all of ESA.
I don't know what you want. Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side. My love. I don't know what you want. Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side. My love, you say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. Baby, come on. You say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna cry, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Let me set the scene for you. It's Oregon. You're 2 rounds in, and you have 2 rounds on the board. It's been flawless so far for the defending Skams flops, and you're a bandit rotating through kitchen around to a defenseless sledge on his drone. You get the headshot, and without even thinking, you know that he's protecting someone down below in freezer. The hatch is open. You drop down and you get that second kill. Proco. That was the most fantastic play we have seen in ESA so far this season. I have some questions for you. Welcome back, everybody. My name is Keglanek, and we have Parako here, one of the top fraggers, probably in all of ESA, and maybe, dare I say, all of T3 Siege. Parako, what do you eat for breakfast in the morning? Because that was insane.
I don't eat breakfast.
Okay.
I wake
On a-
up at like 6.
Fair enough,
impossible.
man. On a more serious note, though,
6
what do you...
p.m. but-
Oh. On a more serious note, though, what do you guys do to practice to get these very unorthodox strategies seemingly memorized and mastered?
We do a lot of VOD reviewing of Pro League teams, and we stole those strats off of higher level teams. And yeah, we scrim every single day.
It
That's about
seems like it, because your coordination and your chemistry was absolutely off the charts tonight for these last two matches. So the Oryx pick that we saw a lot from your teammate Peach, tell me how that strategy evolved. Was that also copying from Pro League teams, or was that a little bit of your own flavor as a team?
He kind of just picked it. Well, it was like kind of a flex pick. He just picked it because he wanted to play it.
Fair
And
enough.
It worked out. He has a good gun.
We explained on the cast that Oryx is really good on the new Oregon, just because there's a lot of hatch potential and a lot of vertical plays, both up and down, that we saw Peach take advantage of. But Proco, for my last question for you, bud, are there any teams in ESA you're worried will be a big challenge for you guys going forward?
No, not really. I don't really know the teams, but I know they're probably not going to be a challenge.
Fair enough. Then I mean, that is a very bold statement coming out from Proco, representing the rest of Skams flops. Proco, I really hope you're right, man, and I hope we get to interview you again, and hope to see a lot more wins going forward. Again, thank you for coming on for the interview, and that will be it for the evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching us commentate over these games. And Proco, thank you on behalf of both Skams and All4One for giving us some fantastic games for us to watch here tonight. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful night. My name is Keglanek. You can follow me on Twitter at Keglanek. And Cherish, I believe yours is just at Cherish. I could be wrong. Cherish Casts. And last but not least, of course, follow ESA Siege on Twitter as well. I believe it's at ESA_Siege. And of course, follow on Twitter as well, and follow Proco.
At Proco06.
There you go. Yeah. Oh, right, and have a wonderful night.
Wishing that I could run away with you. Imprisoned by fear, just pull me away, pull me away. Secret fantasies of me.